And now, here's something we hope you'll really like.
You're listening to
Creating Daily.
There's something wrong with you. You know that?
Because you and I are like a mullet. Sid is the business, so he's the front part of the haircut, and then I'm the party in the back.
I think they're hilarious.
Speaks to me. It's like he's saying what I'm thinking.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Billy over here at Creating Daily. You may have noticed not a brand change, but a brand addition. I have been doing some live streams, as you guys know. You've probably been checking it out. If you're here, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But I've been doing a lot more live streaming and really talking more about creatorship versus just talking about creating for money. So more than just monetization, but I've been talking a lot about just kind of the process of being a creator, like a content creator, that type of thing, from monetization to workflow, all kinds of other stuff. So I've done a couple different things. I've created a room on Clubhouse, or a club called Creating for Money, or sorry, I'm going to get these all confused. Creating Daily. And then I've also created a new podcast feed, Creating Daily as well. And the idea here is to give me a live stream channel where I'll just live stream to Creating Daily. And the idea is to eventually get daily. Just because it says daily doesn't mean it's going to be daily, but that's kind of the goal. Hopefully to go daily at some point in my live streaming career. But I'm pretty excited. For some of you, you've probably heard me talking about a platform called Bullhorn, and I've been on this platform nearly every day since I learned about it, just testing stuff and creating content. And so I thought, you know what, it'd be really fun to create content just for Bullhorn, right? Exactly, for Bullhorn or whatnot. So this is what I'm doing. So I'm live streaming here to Clubhouse. I'm live streaming here to Bullhorn and several other places. But I'm really excited about Creating Daily because it's going to be different than Creating for Money. So Creating for Money is my show where I'm really trying to help you as a content creator make money with your content. If that's a live stream, if that's a podcast. But Creating Daily is going to be more of the culture of creators and bringing on other people to talk about different things and different streams, not just podcasting, not just live streaming, but maybe NFTs or maybe, graphic design or website development or something of that nature. Because we're all creators. Most of us are multi-hyphen creators. And I love having a lot of different conversations with a lot of different creative people. And so that's why I've created this. If I say creative or created one more time, I might just vomit. But anyway, that's why I created this space, Creating Daily, the Clubhouse room, and then also this feed over here on Bullhorn. And I am going to share my feed. And I see Angelique jumped into the audience. New club. No one comes in. I don't know if that's an algorithm thing for Clubhouse or maybe because it's 10:20 at night where I am. But Angelique, if you want to come up and say hello here on Clubhouse, feel free. And then my friend Sid Meadows. So funny story. Sid and I have been having some conversations about creating some content, about creating some more shows. And I wanted to keep the brand as just like Creating for Money, and I didn't want to do anything outside of that. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do it. And then today, actually about 3 hours ago, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, man, the content I'm creating on Bullhorn under the brand of Creating for Money doesn't make a lot of sense for Creating for Money. So I probably should do what I coach other people to do and just start a whole new thing. So in my way of doing life, I just jump out of the plane with no parachute, put the parachute on the way down, and I build the plane on the way down or whatever. So Sid, you don't know about this, but this is a new thing. I know you're out of town. I was going to call you, let you know about it. I have some ideas. So anyway, this is called Creating Daily, and this is going to be the new feed that I start to create daily. I mean, I'm going to say daily, but more like 2 or 3 times a week, 4 times a week over here on Bullhorn to do live streams. That way, when people watch, if they're watching my YouTube channel, Creating for Money, they can kind of see the difference of like, okay, this is live stream content. It's more general creative talk versus new stuff that Sid says, I don't think I need to go on vacation again. Sid is my accountability partner in the business world. He's a business coach, a really good one. Always asks the tough questions that you don't really want to answer, but he does. And then he always says, Billy, don't chase the shiny objects. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not going to do that. And then I do. So yeah, Sid, enjoy your vacation. I just created a whole new show. And so I'm pretty excited about it. I see my friends Phil and Angelique in the audience. Phil, what's going on, man? You guys feel free to come up if you want to. I did make some stingers for the new show, though, some radio style. So I don't know if you're on Clubhouse, if you heard them in the beginning, but I'll play one right now. I'll play the intro, and you can check that out. So here we go. I'll play it again.
And now, here's something we hope you'll really like.
You're listening to
Creating Daily.
There's something wrong with you. You know that?
Because you and I are like a mullet. Sid is the business, so he's the front part of the haircut, and then I'm the party in the back.
I think they're hilarious.
Speaks to me. It's like he's saying what I'm thinking.
All right, and then that's the intro of the show. So a little stinger there, and then also got another one, just a little simple one for a little news segment, and I'm gonna make some more because I made a bunch for my other show, and then now I just changed it all up on myself. So here's the other one.
That's news to me.
Creating Daily, and that is the voice of Wayne Benson, and he sorry to cough. I should have muted. What a live stream fail. But he is and I'm going to put a link here real quick in Clubhouse. Awesome. So Wayne Benson is a radio host, internet radio host, and he kind of got me into those little stingers, like show me how to make them or whatnot. So kind of fun, kind of cool. I had some other ones that I'm going to make for different segments of the show, just to break it up a little bit, because I am doing a live show and I want it to be fun. You know, we're content creators. We're creators. We're going to be bringing people on to talk about their content creation journey and all those kind of things. But the big thing about this show is I want it to be fun, exciting, maybe some question like, what the heck was this guy doing? That type of thing. So if you're on Bullhorn, feel free to follow me on here, because this is where I'm going to be going live and restreaming it out from here. And then if you are on Clubhouse, I created a new group, so you can jump into this group and tag that little Monopoly looking house there and do the thing. So I'll show you guys, if you're watching on Bullhorn, you watch this replay, I'll show you some of the scenes I set up. So I use a software called Ecamm Live, and I do a virtual video into Bullhorn, and then also I go virtual into Restream and then out to all Facebook, Twitter. I think Sid's probably watching me on Facebook, but we're going out to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I think that's it. And then here on Bullhorn as well. So I'll go through some of these scenes. You guys already saw this one. Just a little cheap webcam there. A little second scene. Got my guest scene, which I don't have set up. Here will be a side-by-side scene, guest and myself. Let's see right here. And this will be a guest myself in whatever current window I have open, which is kind of fun. What's up, Sean Spacey? Just jumped into the room there on Clubhouse. This scene right here will be me and a guest, or me and a co-host, and my iPhone. So we'll see how that goes. And then some tribe stuff. I haven't set all these scenes up. But anyway, so got a lot of stuff prepared. I saw Sid just jumped in. Saw Ryan jumped into the Clubhouse room. Welcome, guys. Anybody's welcome to come up and hang out, ask any questions, all that kind of fun stuff. And if you haven't seen the Bullhorn thing, I see a couple people are listening. So let me know in the side chat if you checked it out or if that's somebody on Bullhorn. Either way, just want to say hello. Get a creaky chair. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and I'm gonna whip all these creators into shape. And let's see. Sean says, gotta go to sleep. We'll have to catch up on the replay. Yeah, man, feel free to do that. And then also the link up top will take you over to Bullhorn. You can watch it. You can watch what I was just showing as well. So appreciate that. And probably, I can probably work on my announcement skills, or at least timing. But I'm so excited to get it out, get stuff launched. So literally in the last 3 hours, I made a decision. Hey, I'm gonna do creating daily, which is still in the Creating for Money brand, or that same creator brand. Then I'm going to, so I launched a podcast, did a trailer episode, set my account up on Bullhorn for this RSS feed. That's how they bring you in right now. And then did all the branding in about 3 hours. So here we are. And thank you guys and gal for jumping into the Clubhouse room. All right, we got Phil coming up. Here we go. What's going on, my man Phil? How are you, bud? Phil, if you're there, I can't hear you.
Hey, Billy. I'm here. I hope I'm not muted out because of my red stripe that just popped up.
Oh, you're good. I can hear you now.
Awesome, man. Billy, admire you so much, man. You are like the poster guy of creating because you think it and you do it. And that's just so awesome, man. I mean, just been following you in the last few weeks even of, the creating for money has been around, but now creating daily and you created it and you're doing it, and just hats off and a hand clap to you and all the multi-streaming. And yes, there might be a kink or a quirk here and there, but you're pulling us along every moment that you go live. I started in Facebook, I jumped in the Clubhouse, and I popped on stage. I'm gonna get off this stage, but I just love your energy and your creativity, and keep living the life, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, Phil. And the same as to you, man. You are a multi-hyphen creator, just as I am, doing a lot of fun stuff. So I really appreciate the friendship that that we have here on Clubhouse, that we've connected off of Clubhouse. And this is what it really is all about. Really, when I was thinking about this, I thought, what do I want to accomplish more than anything else? Is I want the ability to bring creators together, to have a live stream show that happens multiple times a week, that is video and audio. I mean, I love audio. Obviously, I'm here on Clubhouse. I'm here a lot. I've invested a lot of time, energy, resources into the app as far as, being here, being present, building relationships. But then there's another element of, adding that video and having the stream go to audio that I think, when I see, and this happened the other day when I saw people's faces that I haven't really seen in a while or never seen on video, I was like, man, this is really fun. This is really cool. And, luckily, Bullhorn is a cool place that lets me bring in up to like 5 co-hosts at a time. And then also, people can jump in the chat over there as well, or questions, or they can call into the show over there as well. So it's kind of cool. And then, connecting it to Clubhouse. So, man, Phil, appreciate you jumping up. Appreciate all the kind words, and anybody is welcome to come up as well. So go ahead, Phil.
Hey, Billy, for sure. One quick question, and this is burning in my mind because I saw your countdown coming up for Facebook. And so when that hit, I jumped in Facebook, and then I decided to jump over here to get this experience. And then I clicked on the link as soon as you put it up for Bullhorn. And my curiosity is, how are you pulling all this off without a producer or an assistant moderator, or do you have someone yet?
Oh, no, man. Great question. I probably should have, Sid would, if he wasn't on vacation, he and I would be assisting each other because he's going to co-host some shows, some lives with me. But really, I have my Rodecaster Pro, so that's where all my audio is. I'm doing, I think all the audio going into Bullhorn is through the new virtual mic on Ecamm Live. So I'm using Ecamm. I get a bunch of scenes set up. I have my Stream Deck, which is all, I can just fire them off, video wise, which is pretty simple. I just got two camera shots here today that I'm using, but I can toggle through all those. So the countdown is preloaded. When it ends, it goes automatically to my front-facing, or my DSLR, which is the camera right in front of me, and then I can just push buttons and switch. And then as far as audio, yeah, man, I got the Clubhouse room going to the TRRS port of the Rodecaster here, and then yeah, that's it. Now the only thing I would like to do, which Clubhouse is like hit and miss on this. I have an adapter that is, let me show you guys. If you're watching the video, maybe I can show this adapter to you, but it is basically a it's 3.5 millimeter, and then the lightning charge cable, and then to the phone. So if that makes sense. So I can plug into my phone. I can also plug in the 3.5 millimeter, and I can also plug in a cable that goes to my computer to bring on, because Ecamm, you just connect your phone right to it, and it'll bring up whatever's on your phone. Okay, that was a really bad way of explaining that, but hopefully you guys are following me a little bit.
Yeah, got it.
However, with Clubhouse, when I do that, somehow it recognizes that I'm doing that. I guess like I'm taking it into a different software, because it gives me this giant red bar that's like, hey, make sure you have permission, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get bumped. You're going to get kicked out, whatever, if you don't do, follow the rules. And then it'll work for about a minute and a half, and then it shuts off the audio and won't bring in, because there's no way for me to, if I'm not connected properly, and if it's not working properly, there's no way for me to take the audio through to Ecamm. And so when I have that adapter plugged in, I got to run the audio through, Ecamm and do like a playthrough or whatever. So I don't know. It's kind of confusing. I tested it like 50 million times the other day. It just didn't work. So, otherwise it'd be cool, because I could be sitting here and then have the phone right beside me with comments coming in through Clubhouse, or showing whoever's on Clubhouse, who's talking, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't really have a fix for that, but that's my next like, okay, let me try to figure that out, because that would be cool, because then everyone gets to be a part of the video, including Phil with his avatar with the flashing microphone. And I see Michael Sterling in the audience. Michael, if you know how to make that happen, please, please, please come on up and tell me, because I can't figure out why it keeps kicking me out. But anyway, so Phil, does that help you? I know it's a little confusing. It's all over the place, but.
No, not confusing at all. I admire your creativeness on the tech side of this too. Again, we're all trying to get to these new places, and man, you are just amazing at how you're getting it all done. And I'm just thinking it's going to get even better when you get back to some normal studio settings and normal internet back in the States. It should be cool. Hey, Bill, I'm going to jump off and give room for anyone else. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm definitely down for the internet. I'm excited. I think I got like 60 something days, and I'm gonna be back in the good internet world. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, so this is kind of the idea. And then also for anybody that's in the audience here on Clubhouse, or anybody on Bullhorn checking it out, I am looking to bring on other creators. Now, this isn't gonna be like, hey, I'm going to bring you on and we're just going to, I'm going to interview you and all that stuff. Like, yeah, sure, we want to jump into your story. We want to do that. But we're going to really have like focused subjects that we can bring a lot of value around. Not a traditional interview, if you will. So it's going to be more creator roundtable style, I guess, if you will. Like, hey, let's talk about this topic. Let's dig into it. Let's bring a lot of value. Similar to what we've been doing on Clubhouse for a long time in certain rooms. But want to have more of that focused conversation and really let people individually come on and really shine their expertise. I know in these audio spaces, we have, I guess highlights of what people are really capable of, but it'd be really cool to, bring other people on and really dive into, their specialty and that kind of thing. So let me know what you think about it in the little side chat here, or if you're listening on Clubhouse or Bullhorn. Maybe I should stop saying names. I can't keep up with them all. And then also let me know, like, is this something that you're looking to do? Are you looking to live multi-stream? Like, I'm multi-streaming video, audio. I know Michael Sterling, who was in the room, he's popped out. He's doing a bunch of stuff in the audio world, audio to audio and Twitter and all these places. So I think that's pretty interesting. I'd like to know how that goes. Now I'm going to pop over here to my old friend. My old friend Calvin Patrick here on Clubhouse says, hey, old friend, congratulations, man. I lurk a lot still, just soaking up the knowledge. Appreciate that, Calvin. Calvin actually early on was one of the people who got me really interested in Twitch. He was telling me that he, and I still think he does this, goes out to a river and puts his phone on a tripod and fishes and just gets all these people checking it out and watching it. And it's all live, and, you know, you get people who are interested in fishing. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I do see, it looks like a hand raised, but I don't see whose hand it was. So if you want to come up, feel free. Angelique says, just join the club. Thanks, Angelique. Appreciate that. Glad to have you. And then Sid Meadow says, what? Another podcast? Not really. It is, but it's not. It's going to be, I'm just going to repurpose the audio, the live audio, and I'm going to put it on an RSS feed, maybe. Bullhorn right now, it has two feeds, the Bullhorn feed and the RSS feed from your hosting company. And if I do this live stream tonight on Bullhorn, and then I swap over and upload it to my RSS feed, then it's going to double up. So until they figure out how to turn that off, I'm probably just going to stay everything on Bullhorn. However, right now I'm having a little trouble with my Ecamm, so it looks like Bullhorn may be dead in the water. Don't know what's really happening. So we'll see. Maybe this is that good old internet we've been talking about. Interesting. All right. It looks like Ecamm just crashed. So much fun. All right. Maybe it didn't. I'm going to go. This is a pretty good testing ground too. Oh, Michael's back. I have a hunch that Michael was jumping into Bullhorn and back. Is that what happened, Michael? Now I'm going to check out Restream. I'm going to see if I'm dead all over the water here as far as video. It still looks like it's on. If you're watching on Club or Facebook, let me know if it still works. I don't know. It like froze up like crazy, and then it stopped working, and now everything's working again, I think. So anyway, awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody jumping in. Let's see. Oh, Michael says I'm in both. So you're bullish on audio long term, Billy? I don't. What does that mean? I'm not against audio. I'm definitely thinking audio is the way to go. I mean, you know, probably podcaster first, live streamer second, if I had to put it into order. So yeah, maybe I don't know exactly what bullish means in that context, but feel free to ask a different way that I could. Maybe I could understand it better. All right, and one more pro tip when you're, I do this all the time, but don't drink sparkling water when you're going live. It's not good. Michael says he's in both. Awesome. All right, oh, here's Ryan. Let's bring him up here. Here we go. Hey, what's going on, Ryan? Thanks for jumping up, man.
Hey, Billy. Yeah, I was just saying. My comment was more like, so you're bullish on social audio long term, as in like you think it's gonna last effectively, grow bigger.
Yeah, man, I think it will. I mean, I don't know that people are going to. Yeah, I think it will because one thing I think it is really easy to jump on here and create live shows, and you don't have to like I'm live streaming, so obviously I got a bunch of crap I gotta fire up, the camera, the lights, the backlighting, all this stuff I have, as to where social audio at its current state is like, oh, I just jump on and I can have all these conversations, I can connect with all these people, I can literally do radio style shows if I want to, or podcast style shows. So yeah, man, I think it's here to stay. I mean, I guess it depends what the different I definitely think there's going to be communities, and I've already seen this on Clubhouse. There's certain communities that are stronger than others and that really invest in it. And when Clubhouse first came out, I saw a ton of podcasting rooms, podcasting spaces, and I mean, there's hundreds of people in these rooms at a time. And now I see less and less podcasters, less and less podcast coaches, less and less podcast, booking agencies and all that kind of stuff. But I do see, still like in the real estate world, I kind of follow some real estate people around, and man, I see that those communities are huge. NFT community right now is huge. So I guess it depends on the different communities and how they, utilize them. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, man. I mean, It's interesting because, like, I feel like in some ways, social audio is the evolution of podcasting, right? Because the idea that you can listen to something, it might not be as well produced as a podcast will be, but I think there's definitely more potential good variables for something to happen. Um, in my mind, it should be easy for brands and sponsors to get into the social audio space because there's a lot of ways that you could do things kind of impromptu to have that. Now, whether or not that happens on Clubhouse, I don't know. I mean, like I think that's the big mystery right now because, like, you know, I know a lot of people are making a hubbub about like this Ukraine room that got 500,000 people to go through, but yet Twitter did a room like that and it hit like 1 million people within a day or two. And then Reddit did a room that hit like 900,000 within like a day and a half. So there's clearly people using social audio, but is it on Clubhouse? That's the thing I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
just Reddit is one of the biggest apps in the world. There's 40 million daily users on that app. So it's going to be interesting to me, like what actually shakes out with all of this, because it seems like every major social media application is adding social audio as a feature rather than making it about social audio. So I think that that will be the interesting dynamic moving forward.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I do think and I have noticed that too. Even, and I've been on Clubhouse for over a year. I think December was like a year, so a year and some, several months. And I've noticed just my hallway and my experience has changed quite a bit, from really enjoying it to not so much. So, if I'm not creating content on the platform, I really don't spend too much time unless I kind of see rooms or I just know of people running rooms on here that I want to join. And I get on here often and look and use the global search feature and get on there. So if anybody knows, better ways to find the quality or the content that I want, I would love to, hear it. But, to your point, Ryan, like I have seen a decline in content catered to my interests on this app for sure.
Well, and I know too, that like this app has grown a lot in foreign markets for sure. Like, India and other South Asian markets, it's grown a lot. So it's not that this application is not growing. The question is like, what do people want to, hear on an application like this? And I think that's the hard part for a lot of it is like, a lot of sometimes it's social, sometimes it's like I want to hear kind of like live interviews or live kind of like interactions or what have you. I don't know. I mean, it's a whole different thing, I guess, for each person. But I look at it like Clubhouse, regardless of maybe not having the audience that like Twitter or Reddit or some of these other applications have, it's clear to me at least though that like Clubhouse has the best interface out of anyone in terms of like the features available. It's easily number one. And I think that they did a good thing with the replay functionality. I think they did a great thing with the chat. There's a lot of great features that they're rolling out. The question is there going to be the people here now to really take advantage of that, and let creators actually like create shows that will get, a lot of people listening. I know that like with podcasting, I mean, I think the numbers were like average podcasts get like 27 listens. That's like the average podcast. So to me, I'm like, well, most social audio numbers dwarf that. So like, shouldn't that theoretically be good?
Yeah.
Be a good thing. Yeah.
I'm below average on Clubhouse right now. I'm at 23. Not even listeners. I don't know how many people are. Well, I guess seven are here now, but 23 been through the room. Yeah, man, and I think it does come down to quality of content and how it's produced and all that kind of stuff. And, you get, like you said, you're not going to get like stellar studio produced content. Even I'm running through a Rodecaster Pro, but, I'm sure their audio or whatever, and I'm speaking out of my league here, is not like the greatest quality. But I've heard some people do some really amazing things on this app as far as like music and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, man. And I think too, when, because I was on it early when it was more about community, less about sales. I mean, you never heard anybody, and just full disclosure, like I'm a guy who gets on here and talks about sponsorship deals and says, hey, come buy my workshop. So I'm not poo-pooing anybody trying to make a buck by coming on and doing networking and marketing and all that. But I definitely feel like it, kind of went in that direction super fast. And even me, I didn't spend a lot of time, saying, okay, how can I, make money from Clubhouse? How can I monetize Clubhouse? But now, a year in, I do think that is on my list of like, okay, I spend a ton of time on this app. I mean, when I first got on it, dude, I was spending like 60 to 80 hours, either consciously or unconsciously, like on this app.
I think a lot of people were, man. I think a lot of people, you had like people literally living their entire lives on this app, especially when, kind of like when we weren't really out of the pandemic yet and there was no vaccines like kind of available. I think a lot of people were like, oh, this app is great. And I think the question is like, was that the flash in the pan moment, or is there more to this that will showcase like throughout the time? Like I said, I mean, you will probably reach 30 to 40 people at minimum coming through this room while you're running it. And then who knows how many from a replay. That's technically better numbers than the average podcast. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, most podcasts are about an hour, I would say, maybe 2. So like, that's pretty good. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know where it's leading to in terms of that, because it feels like at times like brands are a little afraid to take the next step to go into social audio. But at the same token, I would also argue that if you really look at like what brands are sponsoring in terms of ad revenue for podcasting, I'm like, it's probably a better value for social audio. So.
Yeah, probably so, man. And I guess it depends on, and this is the thing that I'm in. I mean, I'm in the sponsorship space. I don't subscribe or sell a CPM model. My audience is way too small, but I'm always focused on quality over quantity. And so I want the best audience I can get, not necessarily the biggest audience. I'd rather have, 100 engaged people than 1,000 audience members. I want 100 community members versus 100 audience members. And I think that is the value of Clubhouse and the value of social audio is it does allow me and you and anyone else that's on this app to quickly connect, quickly engage. And my podcast RSS feed doesn't do that. I mean, it's one of the biggest pain points is discoverability and connection and feedback and all these things. I mean, that's just how it's been ever since I've been in podcasting. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but nobody knows. You might have you might have 1,000 people listening, but how many people are actually, engaged? And then you got to set up a different place for them to go hang out and all this kind of stuff. So that's what I do think is a plus about this app. Now, I would be curious too. I have another club called How to Podcast, and if I start that club, because there's, I don't know how many people in there now, like over 4,000 people in that club, but it typically will, and I don't know about at 10:30 at night or 10 o'clock at night when I started this, or 10:15 my time, but I feel like if I would have started a room under that club, it would have got a lot more action than this room is, being a brand new first room that this Creating Daily club has had. Now, have you seen that as well? Like clubs you've had for a while versus clubs you haven't. I mean, I guess people are getting the algorithms different. It's not necessarily based on me as an individual creator. Maybe it's based on my club.
It's a couple of things. I think it's based upon who you follow and who follows you. They'll see you in the hallway, and then it's also based upon where your club is also who follows that. But there's a couple of things. But like, I mean, I run rooms in the movie club. I mean, it has 175,000 followers, and
wow.
like, there's times where, I mean, we'll have people come through, but even with a club that big, it's sometimes like, I mean, the numbers are decent, but like they're not like overwhelming. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's just there's and we all know about the Clubhouse boosts and things like that. When Clubhouse itself is boosting their own stuff, which I think is good and bad. I think it's good because they're trying to showcase what Clubhouse can do. I think it's bad because they're controlling their own algorithm. And so that's not a great way for algorithms to naturally find things that just the user wants to find themselves. So it's interesting. Social audio in general, I'm really curious where it's going to go, because to me, on paper, it is better than podcasting, just because even though it's live and there's not as much production value, there's the potential to reach far more people all the time. I mean, I think in 6 months, I've reached almost 10,000 listeners just doing Clubhouse. And there's people who have been doing podcasting in 2 years. They reached 20,000 people. I'm like, well, I'm probably going to reach that in a year. So I'm like, so that's way faster to me to reach more people. It's not going to be, again, as overly produced or maybe as niche as like whatever that is, but I just think that there's just a lot more potential with it in general.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree. And, and I look at that too. And as a content creator, and I want to create content for the platforms that I'm on, not just, now I do create a lot of content and repurpose it or whatever. But like for Instagram, for instance, like I spend a lot of time on carousels and, thinking about reels or whatever. And then I'm over here like, man, my return on investment is not very good. I mean, I've been on Instagram forever. And it wasn't until, so when I got on Clubhouse a little over a year ago, I think I had like 800 followers on Instagram. And now I'm, I don't know, like 27, 27, something like that, whatever it is. But all those people came from Clubhouse. I could almost say every single person that follows me just about outside of those first original 800 came from Clubhouse. So that's how powerful it is. Like it's built that. I've started a business. A lot of people do a lot of discovery calls off of this app. I've connected with a ton of people. I've done collaborations out. I mean, I've done multiple collaboration projects with people, not to mention been booked on podcasts through here. So yeah, man, I'm with you. And and it's really curious to me as to why people are dipping out, but maybe they are, it's a time suck. It's energy, or I don't know. It's interesting.
I was going to say, Billy, I think I might do this at some point, but we'll see. But I wanted to run a room. Someone said on on Twitter, they had a tweet that said like, how many rooms would I have to open to equal the effective times I open the Twitter app? And I wanted to do a series of rooms where every single time I open Twitter, I would open a Clubhouse room. Now, maybe that room only lasts for like 5 minutes, but I would just track it like, oh, this is room 10. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like throughout the day of every single time I open Twitter, I'm opening a Clubhouse room just to see because theoretically, if you're opening Twitter, right, you're scrolling, right? You're wanting to see, like read something, and you might be on there for 2 to 5 minutes. So the question is, does Clubhouse have that kind of effect in the way that like you can do that the same way, or like you're scrolling Instagram, right? Like you're scrolling through TikTok. How long do you do it for? And the question is, could you replicate that effect on Clubhouse? I don't know, but at the same time, I'm like, I think there's a certain level. I think sometimes of like what you say, like why would people dip? And I'm like, well, I think some people are really scared of their own voice, like scared of like actually having to say something and be held accountable with their own like, oh, you said this, you actually said this. And I think also for some people too, I think they just thought, well, this is not worth it for me because I get, I can get 100,000 likes on Twitter theoretically. I mean, that's very few, but my point is that like, it's not as big of an impact, but I'm like, but in reality, if you connect with somebody, it doesn't really matter what the impact should be, right?
Yeah, man, like, I agree with that. And I think that's why I love this app, in social audio in general, or in live streaming and all this stuff is the connection point. And I tell people this all the time. Like, I think that's the most valuable thing that we can try to do is connect with people. It's like, just because I have 500,000 people follow me, which I don't on any platform, but if I did, it's like, that's great, but how many of those people am I actually interacting with? I actually can either do life with or do business with or whatever. So I've always been of that mindset of, I don't need a huge audience. I just need the right audience. And really, I need the right audience to take from audience to community. And there's something very powerful about the voice. Like here on Clubhouse, you see my little avatar face, but no one can really like see my highlight reel of me going to the beach and, whatever, or, whatever crap I make up and put on social media, or, whatever celebrity, whatever people do to make themselves look a certain way. And we all put our highlight reel on Instagram, or maybe not, I shouldn't say all of us, but a lot of us do. And so it's kind of hard to read through that. But when you get on this app and you're listening to somebody and I don't know how it is. I don't know what the science is or whatever. Maybe there's no science, but I just feel like, oh, I know you're full of crap. I know you don't know anything what you're talking about right now, and I'm just not going to invest any more time into listening to you. Do you feel that way? Because I do, and I feel like people know when I'm talking, and I know what I'm talking about, and if I'm talking out of my league, I try to catch myself talking out of my league, but I don't know.
I don't think that's the thing is though is that people will complain about that on Clubhouse, but I don't think that's really different than all social media. All social media has, people who are posting about things, who are manipulating things. There's tons of Instagram accounts that we all know have like millions of bots attached to them, and like that's not real.
True.
And so like it's hard to like every social media app is going to have their downfalls, I feel like, inherently like built within them. And like I just I think that I do agree with you though that there's some people who just they like want they're chasing cloud effectively, like they're going into big rooms to be like, oh, I'm going to be on stage, but I have no idea what I'm talking about. In my head I'm like, I could care less about that. I just don't care. I'm like, yeah, I mean, whatever, do you. But I just think that inherently, like, it's hard because I think all of us want to have a voice and want to voice our expertise on something. And I think it just gets hard when people are like, well, you're regurgitating a subject matter that's been heard before, or like you don't have the authority to speak on something and you keep speaking on it. But I don't think that I think inherently though, having more people, there's more room for great interaction when something is done live and when something is like spontaneous and like organic than I think anything else. I mean, like I'm an actor by trade, and like I love live theater, like, and there's a reason why I love live performance. Because it feels like anything can happen. It feels real in the moment. I love going to concerts for that reason. So I love that aspect of social audio. I love that it's live. I love it's happening right now, and I love that like it might not be perfect, but there's some charm in that, and I think that overall it's a good thing. It can be a bad thing, but I think overall it's a good thing.
Yeah, man, I agree 100%. And I think one thing that's really, really interesting, this is proven right here tonight in this Clubhouse room. Very small audience, just you and I on the stage. Probably have one of the most in-depth conversations I've had on Clubhouse in months and months and months. Because normally, and this is why I started to look at other platforms like Bullhorn, because I wanted to, have this show where I could bring people on and really have, more in-depth conversations about the subject over just, hey, Ryan, welcome to the stage. Go ahead, tell us about yourself, introduce yourself. You got something to ask or you got something to tell, and then you take your 30 seconds and you pitch it. Okay, Ryan, great. Well, now we're going to move on to, Phil or whatever. It's like, I'm done with those rooms, man. And when I first got on this app, that was the beauty of it, is there wasn't a ton of people. I mean, there was a ton of people, but not as many as there are now or were at the peak. And you could jump into these small rooms, have these really intimate conversations, and really, walk out refreshed, energized, just ready to conquer the world because you were around people who, shared the same values and passions, or maybe they didn't, maybe they disagree with you, but you were stimulated through the conversation, so that's kind of the reason why I'm created this whole thing, like this creating daily, was to do a more frequent live stream show and bring on other creators and really talk and bring some true value out versus just, hey, introduce yourself. Okay, I'm a podcast host. Okay, blah, 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 whatever. I'm kind of over that shotgun, like, whatever, like rapid fire, introduce yourself and roll on. Or jump into the big rooms. People invite you on the stage. You sit there for 20 minutes and you're like, oh, wait a second. I am just here to ping my audience.
well, that feels like, to me, Billy, that feels like old school radio, because what happened was with old school radio is that, or I should say terrestrial radio, which I participated in a lot, is that you would, you'd hear songs for however long, and then it would be like caller 9, call this number, and then you'd have to listen for an hour to get it. Or if you wanted to say something on like sports talk radio, you would be waiting for like 20 to 30 minutes until they got to you. So you're hearing the whole program and then they get to you. But in a live format, you're like, well, I don't know if I was planning on on sitting on this stage for 20 minutes without talking. And like you said, it's also a way for the algorithm to game it, right? Like you're going to get 70 people on stage so that all of those followers see you. And then you're like, okay, well, now this room gets bigger. But in my mind, there's not a lot of, it's funny because I think that a lot of people want to be influencers on Clubhouse, but there's that to me is not, you're not an influencer at that point, because if you are, it's because the less people you have on stage is better to me. It makes the stage less cluttered, and unless people have something to say, like, or if there is, it's a purpose, it's like, let's keep the stage light. Like I like that aspect of Clubhouse more. I feel like there's just this inherent idea of like everyone needs to be on the stage, and I'm like, but I can't even see who's talking. Like that to me ruins the experience a little bit of social audio.
Yeah. It's like if you're gonna have that option, well, and I guess to be, in the defense of the people who created the app, I've been in many town halls, especially early on, where they're like, hey, you don't need 50 people on stage with moderating everyone. And I think that was the original intention, was to have more show style, what you and I are doing. I mean, literally, we're doing a show. Like, you're on the Creating Daily show right now, and we're having this amazing conversation. And I mean, maybe if my memory serves me right, that is what they wanted people to do, and to have these, really great conversations. So, yeah, man, maybe we missed the mark. I don't know, as a community, as a Clubhouse community, or Twitter Spaces, or, whatever, Fireside, or whatever. Like, I don't know how you steer the ship back in the other direction, or if people even want to do that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know, and I mean, I think it will. I think again, social audio will just evolve the way it will need to evolve. But like I said, it's like if you really look at the raw numbers, people, even though it sometimes doesn't feel like it, people are in social audio. They like social audio. I think the question is like, what is the next step beyond just talking, or beyond just the thing of like, what's the next step for immersiveness? And like, obviously you brought up kind of like NFTs and kind of Web3, and like this whole metaverse aspect to like kind of wanting to do something different. And I just look at things like, I think people will increasingly want more immersive experiences as time goes on. And now it might not be tomorrow or whatever, but audio provides such a great way. Like for me, at least, when I watch movies, when I go to events, when I do things, audio is so embedded in my, like, the way I think. I love listening to music. I love, being creative with sound. And like, to me, sound is just such an amazing aspect. I think everyone can close their eyes and like really see things for what they are, and use their imagination. I think there's such a powerful thing with that. And I think that, again, the more social audio, the time goes on with it, I think people will want more of that. They'll want to be immersed more in unique experiences that they can't get in anywhere else. And I think that that's what makes, again, live experiences so amazing. And I just don't know where, at the end of the day, like where it's going to be at, because like we did some come through. It's amazing. And like that's, but again, Reddit is an app that's very big, right? Like it's a really massive website. So
Yeah.
I don't know where it's all going to lead at the end of the day. I don't, but at the same time, I'm like, there is power here. There's very, very big power. It's just about how are you utilizing it? What are you doing with it? And at the end of the day, like, what do you like? What's the next step that you think people will go to? Maybe not right now, but the next step, because I think that's where things are really going to get interesting with social audio in general. So,
Yeah, man, I think it's an interesting conversation. Probably one that I don't know, because I'm, like for me, I'm like, oh, I'm meeting people here, and then, I'm like right now, I mean, I currently live in Puerto Rico, but I'm moving back to the States, to North Carolina, here in a couple weeks, or not a couple weeks, couple months. And, from there, I see my friend Drew that jumped into the room, and I'm like, oh, my next step, like literally, is to go to one of his podcast meetups. Like I'm, already told my wife, like, man, I can't wait till we get back. Drew's been doing these little meetups, and I'm excited to do that and make the trip, 2 or 3 hours from where I'm at in North Carolina to where he's at in North Carolina, and be a part of, in-person events. Because I think we, definitely want to get I mean, I do anyway. I don't know about everyone, but I want to get back to that where it's like, cool, man. But I think Clubhouse, social audio, all the stuff we do on the internet, like kind of brings more people into our world and allows us to go into other people's worlds. And then, what we do outside of that, it's like whatever you want to do. You really want to take this relationship a little deeper and go support each other in person. And there's an event going on right now with the Ecamm community out in California. And, there's a little bit of FOMO because I'm seeing all these people who I see online all the time and learn a lot from. And, I'm sitting there going, man, this is really cool. Like, wish I could go be there. So I don't know. But then you get a point too, like with Web3, it's like, okay, that's going to be a whole other world that I haven't yet tapped into, to be 100% honest. I'm not against it at all. I'm just waiting for the right moment for me to to connect, because I'm afraid I might not disconnect. It's gonna be like Ready Player One in my house.
Yeah, no. I mean, I look, I'm one of those people that's just I work with I collaborate with a lot of, I've met some amazing people through social audio, and I'll just say that firstly. I think it's Clubhouse. I've only really been on it for maybe a little over a year, maybe about 14 months. And I mean, I can safely say that it changed my life in the way that, like, it allows you to meet so many more people, both with your interests and without, and allows you to connect to much more. I've connected with more positive people on this app than I think I've connected with any other app. And I think that, again, regardless of whatever happens to, again, Clubhouse, social audio in general, there's no denying that audio is a viable form of connection, and that you can, like, really, again, just really get a little bit deeper with people, I think, than you can on any other platform, where you're constantly seeing an image or you're constantly seeing something else. So for me, I hope that it continues to grow. I really want to see it grow. And the people I've collaborated with on here are some of the most intelligent, just forward-thinking people I've ever met. And, a lot of them have either been in spheres of tech or out of tech, but, like, I love how deep people want to push at times. And I think that that's just, for me at least, like, that's something I'll always take away from it and always really love. So
yeah, man. Well, I think first of all, they gotta get that hand raising thing fixed before we go any further. Drive me crazy. Oh man, love it. And I saw Gabe doing some back chatting there with Angelique. So Gabe would love to hear, and I see you put a group talking about immersive audio, connect.club. I guess that's a group here on Clubhouse that we should check out.
Yeah, so it's actually a whole new social audio sort of immersive experience.
So it's not even on Clubhouse. It's like its own entity.
It's got its own entity. So when you started talking about it, me and Angelique were actually there a few days ago, and man, it kind of blows my mind a little bit. And I've been on all of the other social audio apps.
Okay.
So
what about, okay, because I just went to the website. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get all fancy here. If anybody's watching, I'm going to show the screen. Maybe.
Plus you said Ecamm 2 is giving you FOMO. I am missing out because I wanted to go to social media marketing world over there, and I know a lot of the Ecamm people as well. But I decided to make upgrades to my equipment, so I'll have to catch it at another time. But
So what do you think is so much different about that platform than the one we're currently on? Like, what do you like about it the most? Here comes the list.
Go ahead, Angelique.
I don't even want to be over here anymore. Like, I will have a Clubhouse recovery room over there because it is so different. Everything you just said, I almost came up right at that moment when I was like, you guys are just describing. Ryan, you had said, like, people want different experiences and they want to level up their experience. They want a sense of connection, but they don't want the limitations that some of these, rooms have, the etiquette and some of the habits. Some of them are really annoying, right? But you want to have some freedom to be able to talk to people and to be able to connect with people in different ways. And sometimes it's like even a sidebar conversation. If me and Gabe want to, or Billy, you and Gabe want to, just go deep in with about Ecamm and the event that's going on right now. You guys would be able to do that within the same room by just going over. It is Web3. It is the metaverse without having to purchase an Oculus. You're really in a space where you can move around, and based on your radius, you can talk to only those people. So you can be holding multiple conversations in the same room, or there can be a speaker that's talking to the entire room. It's the dopest experience that I've ever had. And in addition to that, they have different room platforms, so rooms look differently, and you can screen share. So if you had something to show people, like your bullhorn right now, you're live streaming, right?
Yep.
It could be.
You could be live streaming inside the room. We could all see you, and we can interact with you and each other, or we can interact with each other and you can't hear us talking. So the same thing like a chat, but we could be having sidebar conversations in addition to being a part of this conversation.
Yep.
It's completely dope, but it's invite only.
Yes.
All right, who's sending me an invite? Gabe or Angelique? Which one?
Because and plus it goes into the NFT space as well. So they kind of designed it to where it is building into Web3. So they actually have a separate room that you can request out to put in like NFT spaces. So you could actually have NFT artwork put up there, gallery sort of style where people can go there. I mean, it will literally make you change your mind about how an immersive audio experience can actually be.
Yeah, immersive is a great word. And about the gallery function, it allows someone like an NFT artist, right, to put their artwork up, and then you can click on it right there in the room and make purchases from the room. So I can think of 1,000 different ways to use this, in addition to like if this were your lead magnet, or if this were a funnel of yours, or you had other types of products that you wanted to sell. Let's say you had a webinar. You could start in one room, do a whole webinar and a presentation, a Q&A, and then take people over into a whole nother room in a space without skipping a beat. It's amazing. Yeah. But it's invite only. So remember when Clubhouse first started, you had to have the number and save that person as your contact. It's the same way. So Gabe, if you want to use one of your invites for Billy, that's totally fine. If not, I will. And I'd be happy to invite you over there. And Gabe and I will give you the tour.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angelique, I'd love to. Yeah, if anyone has an invite, I'd love for you to message me.
I'll send you one too. I'll send Ryan one, and you can send Billy one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say, because what we did on Reddit was they hired us the group I'm a part of, Audiotorium. They hired us to do a live audio haunted house experience for Halloween. And so the deal was that it was held in the Halloween subreddit, which I think had like 800,000 to like 1 million members or something. And so it was like where it was almost like a choose your own adventure. We had voice actors that we had a script for, and then we had sounds that were like replicating a haunted house. And so like these voice actors would go to a certain point, and then we'd invite the audience up to ask them where they should go. And then we'd give them choices, and then we'd move on from there. So it was like an hour. And yeah, the Reddit sound quality, unfortunately, is not in the league of Clubhouse, which is unfortunate.
Oh,
your mind's gonna be blown because the audio quality over here is so good. It just remembered something though. Paul Votto, do you know who he is?
Yeah. I know who he is. Yep.
He's a comedian. He has a club over there, and because he has a club that he's got approved, he has a VIP link, and so this link allows me to us to invite people that we don't have to use our invites.
Oh.
So if that's cool, then I can share that. Gabe, is that what you were going to share?
Yes, I was going to send the one that Sean gave us, his VIP link too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to try to promote.
So we don't have to waste. That's right. I'm glad you said that.
I was going to try to promote Paul's club. So when you come in, now you don't have to be invited. You can use this link. I'm going to put it in the chat. And when you get in, you'll automatically be joined to his club. So that's kind of another cool feature about this app, is that you can invite people in that way, and then they're automatically in your community, right?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah, I was going to hold off to even talk about it until I had gotten my club all together and approved. But I mean, you guys you set it up so perfectly to share. So yeah, happy to. Give me just a second. I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll come hang out in your club too. Don't worry. You get it going, I'll be there. That's cool. So Gabe, how did you guys find out about this? Like, I've never heard of it until just now.
Okay, so we were actually in another room here on Clubhouse. As a, ma- as a
Go
matter
figure.
of fact, so this is what you were talking about, how it is powerful, yes. So this is still not dead in the water. There's still power behind coming here and holding conversations. Um,
Yeah,
so,
I was asking why is my hallway so whack? That's what I had asked, and somebody said because people are using different apps, and I thought I know all the apps. What do you mean different apps? Like what apps am I missing? And that's when somebody said I heard about this other app, but I haven't really been over there. So go ahead, Gabe.
so yes. And when we started getting into hearing about it, we had gone over, they had been doing field trips. So they were taking field trips to other rooms. So they were going to other social audio platforms while we were still here. So they was going to Rift to go check it out. Um, Going over to Wisdom, going over to all these other rooms. And then we'd come across Connect.club. And when we went there, um, we kind of all just jumped in, not knowing exactly what it was. And it happened to be that one of like the head of operations there was part of their in one of the rooms that kind of jumped in where we were because these were open
Wait,
rooms.
wait.
Was
You,
is,
Gabe, hold
did I
on.
mix it up?
We dove in so hard into this room
Oh, yeah.
that I screen shared. You got to tell it right, man.
Okay.
So what happened was I
That's
was
right.
screen sharing just to be able to like test the screen share
Oh
function,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And then Gabe, I was like, hey, you want to try it? He was like, yeah, I want to try it. So then he ends up start teaching like a live stream
streaming.
master class. And one of the founders of the
Well,
app walks in the
I
room.
was gonna go into that, but you beat me to it. I was kind of building up to that, but because we were testing out the functions, and I remembered that Angelique had seen. So there's a screen in some of the. That's why I said it's interactive and immersive. So there's a screen in there, and anybody can go screen share in an open room like that. So just like you're the moderator here, so you can pin the link. Only you and the moderators who are here can pin a link up here. But in there, if somebody's a part of the room, they can actually go in there and it's almost like I said, it's almost like a screen. It looks like a stage pretty much. And you can go up there and get a shareable link and go to your desktop. So you can still be on your phone, go to your desktop, open it up, connect with the link there, which I did. And then I started just pretty much going into how I learned how to live stream, and people started showing up. And
Wow.
yeah, and when that guy showed up there, we were like, holy crap. It was crazy because he kind of caught our attention, and then he started mentioning, hey guys, do you want to see how powerful all this stuff is? And
Took us on a private VIP tour and gave us the whole rundown and completely onboarded us with the app. And we were like, wow, if we ever go back to Clubhouse again.
I'm glad you guys did. Now I'll see you guys over there. All right. See, bye. Close in the room. If it's that cool, I mean, you guys make it sound like it's Wonderland.
We didn't even tell you everything, so
no.
we'll let you explore around, and that way you still have some like wow moments, right?
All right. That's
I
that's
just
pretty cool.
downloaded it, Angelique. So yeah.
Okay, did the link work? Because I've never tried it with this link. I did put it in the chat for anybody who's listening, so you can try it too. Now, Gear's down there. He tried it. He came in there with us. He was a part of our field trip.
yes.
But it was a situation where he had some sort of bug where we could hear him, but he couldn't hear us. But they've never experienced that before. And we did, Gear, by the way, just because you're listening, we did ask them about that. And he said he's never heard of that issue before. So they were hoping to meet you so that they could like troubleshoot that with you. So if you spend some time over there, the guy Sean, or DM me, and I will try to make that happen with you.
Probably
and help you.
Probably had an AirPod loose in your pocket. You had a Rogue AirPod. Happens to me all the time.
But what's so cool is though, like so you get your own support ticket right away. So like when you connect with them, like say when you're having issues, it is right there for you.
Wow.
Along in your settings.
And they're really fast.
And they're fast.
So who's backing it? Who's money bagging this thing?
I don't know, but they don't even want investors because we asked, like, can we invest in this? Is this still like on the ground
Wow.
level? They were like, we don't want your money. This is free. yeah, they're like, just come use it. But they said don't invite just anybody. Like, only invite people that you really think will use it and enjoy it and be a great value.
Yep.
That's why it's still invite only. But it's just a matter of time before it'll be public.
So let me ask you this question. You shared it in the chat. I don't know the answer. That's why well, obviously, that's why I'm asking. Does the chat stay with the replay?
It does.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is that a problem?
No, Paul gave us that link to share for his. Yeah, I'm sure he won't mind. It'll just help grow his club, right?
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if, because when Clubhouse was first going, they like really said like, hey, make sure whoever you invite's not a knucklehead, because if they get in trouble, you're out. I remember that from a town hall or whatever. They're like, no, we want you to invite quality people or whatever. So I mean, that's probably the wrong word, quality people, but you know what I'm saying, like. Not some knuckleheads. So interesting. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Thanks for the shiny object.
I'm yet, guys. I just want to say though, thanks, Billy, for inviting me up, and Gabe and Angelique for the info. It's really cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, go find me on Connect Club, and we'll connect there.
Yeah.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Ryan. Thanks so much. Gabe, thank you. Angelique, thank you. I do want to pass the mic over to my friend James real quick as the last person, and then I'm going to end this live stream and go download this new app and see what it's all about. So, James, what's going on, my man? How are you?
Hey, man. I can just hear your wife saying, "Oh shit, I've lost them for like another 12 hours."
Yeah, right.
Pretty much.
Checks out another app.
Honey, I'm talking to my friends on the internet. Be quiet. I swear it's going to pay off one day.
Oh man. No, man, I'm good. My kids have COVID, so thankfully I get to go out to work, and my wife has to deal with that. But yeah, so that was a bit of a shock this morning, waking up and like my kids, like, two of them, not all three to be fair, but two of them. But it's weird. Like, it seems to have affected them in different ways. Like, one is my youngest, and he's still bouncing off the walls like there's nothing wrong with him, but he tested positive. And then my oldest son, now he's nearly a teenager, so that might have something to do with it. Like, he just hasn't got out of bed in like 2 days. So
he's just a teenager. He doesn't have COVID. He's a teenager.
He did test positive, so. But we, like me and Rachel, we tested negative, so we're all good. I'm at work. It's like 3:20 a.m. So, and I'm getting off the night shift in 3 weeks. Thank
awesome,
God.
Man. Well, yeah, that'll be good to see in the morning rooms. And man, I hate that your kids got COVID. That's all going to go good, and they're going to get over that thing. Sounds like the little guy's probably not bothered by it, but. Yeah, man, best wishes to you guys. Be praying for you. And then, man, James, while you're on here, dude, I don't know. Yeah, okay, that link is still the same. Okay, I left it. So if you tap on that link, this is a live streaming platform called bullhorn.fm. Might be something for you to check out, man. I don't know. They're
I've got Bullhorn.
Oh, very cool.
Our shows go out on Bullhorn.
They do already. So you guys are doing? Are you doing Bullhorn and Fireside still, or what do you guys streaming to?
Oh, mate, wait till I tell you about Fireside. Oh my God. So yeah, I'm pretty much dumping Fireside. They are terrible. Their product has got worse. Me and Katie recorded our 100th episode of Across the Pond Sports, and it's supposed to be like a special thing because like it's our 100th episode and everything else. And during the live, I sounded fine, so did Katie. But during the, like, when I went to like cut up some clips and put out for socials, I sound like I'm whispering, and Katie sounds loud as hell. So don't know what happened there, but during the live itself, people were like, no, there was no problem. Like, you both sounded as loud as each other. So yeah, I'm dumping Fireside, getting rid of that, because that's just, it's just not a great place. I hoped for more, and I've given them a lot more time than other people did. A lot of other people have just left. But yeah, I think I'm done with it. So Bullhorn may be something that we look at.
Yeah, man. Well, if you need, and really anybody, if anybody wants me to connect you with, I think it's called the podcast relationship manager. His name is Nick. Super cool guy. I learned. I have a friend that works at Podchaser. He told me about it because I was looking to do like almost like a live internet radio station, which was way too much work once I dove into it for what I'm trying to do. And I was just like, man, why is there not just a podcast player where you can go live on? Like, why has no one come up with this? And then my buddy John from Podchaser was like, yeah, man, it's called bullhorn.fm. I'm like, what? And so anyway, I got in touch. Nick got me on a call, I think same day that I found out about the app. Showed it to me. It is pretty dope. So a lot of cool stuff you can do. I'm not familiar with the platform you've been using, but there's some cool features, and some of them that I really like is just what you can do. Like, you can do live polls, you can do ads, so you can I could literally right now I could just pull in a picture, put a link to it, and fire it off, and it would be right there on the Bullhorn app, and somebody could click on it, or if they're watching on their web browser, they could click on it and go to whatever. So if that's affiliate links, if that's products, if that's workshops or whatever, you can put messages on there, like texts, like, oh, hey, we'll be back in 5 minutes or whatever. Images, like, look at this picture of my dog. And then polls, which I thought was really cool. Just live polls during the live stream. You can do that as well. And then they have this monetization feature, which I haven't turned on. But I think it is, I actually don't even know how to turn it on. Maybe I got to ask them. But it's basically kind of like Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. You can lock up certain benefits or certain features of the app. So if you guys were watching me and you weren't a subscriber, I could, not let you participate in polls, or, not click on ads, or not see the video, just hear the audio, which you can do that anyway if you want. If you don't want to do video, you can just go live stream audio on there. So anyway, it's like an 85-15. Like, you keep 85%, they keep 15%. I think they have like two plans, like $5 and 15, or $5 and $10 or something. I can't remember. Whenever you turn it on, and I don't know if it's live. Maybe it's still in beta. I can't remember what they said, but super cool, guys. Yeah.
It kind of sounds like what Fireside sold us on, like when we first signed up to Fireside. That, like, all that stuff, all the monetization, the different options for setting stuff up. That sounds like what Fireside kind of had planned, but Fireside just haven't followed through at all whatsoever.
Well, and I'll tell you the biggest thing about these guys that Fireside doesn't offer that I know of when I was on there, and actually I downloaded their app again when someone's like, oh yeah, you can do video on your laptop now, and I'm like, oh, what? And so I went thinking I could bring in an external camera like Ecamm, and I couldn't. And it was like, why in the heck do you have a live stream platform when I can't bring an external camera in? Same with Instagram, by the way, when, not that they're going to listen to this, but it just pisses me off. I'm like, why do I want your crappy... Well, I mean, it's not crappy because I got a good phone, but it's like, come on, this could be so much better. So anyway, with Bullhorn, you can bring in a virtual camera. So I'm bringing in my Ecamm. I have the Pro version, so I get a virtual cam. I'm bringing that in with virtual audio, so everything that's played through Ecamm is played through there. And then you can also restream it out to your YouTube channel from their platform. I think they have YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, are the three that you can natively stream from Bullhorn to anywhere. Or you can just use the app and jump on, and then it resizes all the images accordingly. But yeah, right now, man, I can switch screens and scenes, and I'm in full control of my live stream. And I'm also using Restream from Ecamm to push it out to those other platforms, because I will say the video quality on the Restream, for lack of a better word, is not like the greatest quality. It's not terrible, but I got a lot better results from Ecamm to all those places. So yeah, man, might be, I just nerded out. Sorry. I just nerded out a bunch.
Just a little. Nah, you know what? We've been thinking, live worked for me and Katie, because me and Katie did our two shows a week. We did at the same time every week. One of the issues that we're having, and a lot of this is to do with, because of our format and time zones and stuff, because we work with hosts in the US and hosts in the UK, sometimes, like say for the NBA, for example, sometimes because of work commitments and other stuff, people have lives. So sometimes they record a Sunday, sometimes they record a Monday, and sometimes you can't get the guest on a Sunday, but you can maybe get them on a Monday. So like some of our shows, it's not going to be easy to do live, but things like my show, the NHL, probably the WNBA actually, we can do live because they're pretty
Yeah.
much time all the time, and you want people to get used to that routine of being there, because that's what people do now. People are not in a routine of watching live TV. What they're waiting for is, like, Disney Plus do this really well, whereas they don't drop every episode at once. What they do is they drop an episode, say, every Wednesday, so people are like still waited with bated breath for like the next episode of, I don't know, Mandalorian or whatever it is, so that like people aren't just binge watching it and talking about that show for a week. People are still talking about that show for 6, 7, 8 weeks, however long it lasts. And that's what's getting Disney Plus, like, everyone talking about it. Whereas Netflix, maybe they're making a mistake just dropping every episode at once, and it's just kind of catching people out because they binge watch it and then no one talks about it again
I
until the
don't
next
know,
season.
man. I don't know that whatever that what was that games one that just went viral a few months ago? What was that called? I can't remember.
Yeah, but
Squid
who's
Game.
talking yeah, but who's
Dude,
talking about
who's
it?
talking about it? Every person in the world was talking about it. Every person in the world was talking about that show. Now they're not talking about it, but they were.
Yeah, but like if was that like 10 episodes?
I can't remember how many it was, but I tell you what, I bet when the next part of it comes out, whatever that is, part 2, 3, or whatever it is, I guarantee it's gonna be fired up again, man. It's gonna be insane. Like that show is insane. I guess it depends. Like either you get it in the front end or you get it in the back end, right? It's like, what do you want? Do you want this explosive, viral thing going crazy, or do you want to kind of piecemeal it out? I don't know. Interesting concept.
There's a TV show in the UK. I think you guys get it in the US because it's a BBC thing, and it's called Line of Duty. And this is like a prime example of why you are so much better releasing a TV show weekly rather than just all at once. It was like 8 episodes, and all people talked about for 8 weeks was that show. Whereas when you get something like that game show on Netflix, everyone binge watched it within a week.
So what? Hold on. What's the name of the show that you're talking about from the BBC?
Line of Duty. I don't know if you guys get it, but
Well, how many people have heard of that? Just either chat or come off mic. I'm just curious because I'm looking it up to see what the reach was of that movie versus. Because I just think, here's kind of, and this might be like a whole nother, this is actually a whole nother room, which I won't get into it, but it's like really it comes down to quality of content. Like I think that Squid Game or whatever it was, like the content was just so good. It's like, that's why it went viral. That's why everyone knew about it. That's why everyone was talking about it, is because it was just trippy, weird, unexpected, like, dark. I mean, it was just like all the emotions that you don't have on a regular basis, in my opinion anyway, is like what it did to me. That's why I didn't enjoy watching the thing. I just couldn't stop. It was like a train wreck. And so anyway, I think it's, quality definitely has some play in it too. I mean, I don't know about release schedule, maybe, and marketing and all that, but I'm gonna look up this Line of Duty versus that Squid Game and see who did what. But okay, so Line of Duty, 4.1 million viewers. I think Squid Game's got a beep. I'm gonna look it up.
And I wonder if I'm guessing, if you haven't heard of Line of Duty, I'm guessing it maybe didn't come out in the States, but like over in the UK, I mean, it trended on Instagram and on Twitter every single week without fail, like each episode came out. Whereas after 2-3 weeks, probably Squid Game was out of trending anything, because people are still excited about it, but they're excited about the next season, but then they have to wait for a whole year for the next season.
Oh, let's see. Oh, I'm on mute here. Let me see. This is interesting because I think I can't remember, but I know that YouTube creator Mr. Beast made a remake of it of Squid Game. If you haven't checked that out, you should. I think he got more views than the actual show did, which is kind of interesting.
Guy that does the crazy giveaways,
dude. He does insane stuff, man. He's like an hour and a half or 2 hours from me where I live in North Carolina.
He does it was my oldest son loves his videos, and it was this one where they had to hold on to a Lamborghini, and whoever had their finger on it last basically won it, and it started off with like 30 people.
Yeah, he does that stuff all the time. It's crazy.
I was like, where does he get the money to give a Lamborghini away?
Sponsorship deals. That's where it came from. That's where he started out. Sponsorship deals. Like, I think the story is, you have to go watch his, he just did an interview with Joe Rogan, which is pretty dope. Like, I think every creator should go watch it. This guy's 24, #1 YouTuber in the world. So go watch the Joe Rogan YouTube or interview. Super good. And there's also a couple documentaries of him as well. So James, to go back to Squid Game just a second. Squid Game versus, I already forgot what show you're talking about. Let's see where is that? So Squid Game, just since it's been released, it's had more than 2.1 billion hours have been streamed on Netflix since it was released. So to put that into perspective, it's 239,700 years. How crazy is that?
Wow. That's mental.
That's insane. But so, man, back to Bullhorn. Go check it out. And if you want me to put you in touch with Nick, just let me know, man. Super cool guys and super responsive as well to like feature requests and things like that. So yeah, man, they're really cool. I think you could get on there as a creator and probably, help them kind of shape their platform into, things that you need potentially. If you guys were like, if you brought, what do you got, 7 shows?
7 shows, yeah.
Yeah, and the good thing is too, man, if people don't, it's just a podcast player. So you could just put all your shows on there. You should do that anyway. Just put them on there. That way when the RSS feed drops, it's going to be on their platform as well. But then when you go live, it mixes. So, it has 2 feeds, the Bullhorn feed and then the RSS feed. So if I'm going live right now, so when I'm done with this is going to appear in my RSS or my Bullhorn feed. Now I can take it and put it in my RSS feed. Now, right at this moment with Bullhorn, it's going to double over in their app, not anywhere else, but just in their app. However, I think they're working, maybe looking at something to toggle, on and off. Because I would rather have my Bullhorn feed on my podcast feed in their podcast player. There we go. I'm getting it all confused. More so than I would just the audio, because I want the audio and video. Because everybody, when you go back and watch it after this is done, it'll be video on here as well. So, yeah, man, I think it's cool because I was looking, similar to you, man. I was like, man, how do I go live? Like, do a live, not TV, but like a live, just live, but more catered toward podcasters and not just, anywhere else. So I thought this app was pretty cool, and they do a lot of cool stuff on there as well.
I mean, the whole reason about going live is there was this 21-year-old kid came to me, and he said, "Oh, I'd like you to kind of be a guest on my show." I was like, yeah. Like, I get requests quite a lot. So I was like, yeah, sure, man, no problem. And then he goes, yeah, it's live on YouTube. And I was like, sorry, it's what? And I was like, okay, I can try and do live, I guess. And I've been watching him now for almost a year, actually. I've been watching him. And he's been a guest on a couple of our shows. He's a really good kid. And I was like, yeah, maybe live. And that's why we went to Fireside, because, at the same time that we were thinking about it, Fireside launched, and they had all these plans. But by the sounds of it, Bullhorn have kind of not, they've not spoken about these plans. They've actually put things out and put things in place, whereas other platforms just haven't. So, hopefully, we'll have a look at Bullhorn and in the next kind of week or so, and then see where we sit.
Yeah, man. Well, and if you want to, James, just shoot me your email and I will connect you right to the guy, and that way you can just get a Calendly link and jump on his calendar and all that kind of stuff. That way it's, no hustling and bustling. I'll put you right through.
Cool, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Well, I appreciate everyone. Gabe, I appreciate you and Angelique bringing so much distraction to my life. I'll probably see you over in whatever. I forgot what the app is called, but I got the link saved. And I appreciate everybody jumping in. Thanks for checking out the live show. Once again, this is Creating Daily, where we are going to do multiple live shows throughout the week. We'll definitely stream here to Clubhouse. Maybe I'll have a chat with Michael and see how I could stream over to Twitter if I have permission to do that. I don't even think I do. But maybe there's something I can do to make that happen. So anyway, and we're going to continue to stream out to YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So really appreciate everybody. And if you want to be on the show, feel free. If you want to be live on camera, the whole thing, the whole experience as a guest, or as a co-host, you can do that as well. So I'm looking, and this might work, this might not work, but I thought it'd be interesting to have, instead of a just built-in co-host, invite people to maybe co-host a show or a segment or something of that nature to come on and do some fun stuff that way. And, more of a community type project than just Billy talking into his microphone, looking at his camera, as I am right now, all by myself. So I'd love to have some other people on. I know Sid Meadows is going to jump on, so he's one of my rotating co-hosts when he can jump in. He's going to be in. Got my friend Chris Giles, I believe, is going to jump into some episodes as well. So if anybody else wants to do that, is either a guest or a guest co-host, that would be kind of cool as well. All right, everyone, that is it from me. I really appreciate you hanging out here in Clubhouse for so long, hanging out over here on Bullhorn. And until next time, go hit record, go hit live, go do all those fun things. And I'm going to play some music and close all these places out. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.